So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you very much for coming. And welcome to this unit seminar, SCB unit seminar. I think everybody knows more or less how this seminar goes. Is it here? Oh, sorry. Yes, much better here. I think everybody knows more or less the format that we have here. We have the hybrid format, and basically the people that will have like a 30 minutes audience presentation. Normally we do have one speaker, but this time we have two amazing speakers. After this presentation, I will open this Q&A session. And of course, here in the audience, if you would like to ask a question, please approach to the microphone that we have in the stairs. And for the people that are in the Zoom, please raise your hand and they will, you can ask your own question, or if you're a little bit shy, you can also write some questions that will be your voice. So I'm going to start with the introduction of the speakers. So first, I would like to talk about Lizana Paladin. So she is a biologist by training at the University of Padova. I hope I pronounced it properly. Later on, she transitioned to bioinformatics, where she did a master's degree at the University of Bologna. For her PhD, she went back to the University of Padova on the field of structural biology, where she focused mainly on repeat protein functions, role, stability, and evolution. During her studies, she also developed computational skills such as data analysis with Python, data management, and storage technologies, along with JavaScript-based web development. Since the very beginning of her career, but especially during her first postdoc, she has been participating in grant writing, project management, and community building skills. She's also a certified instructor of the carpentries and an active member of Elixir, ISCB, OpenAir, and Open Life Sciences communities. In 2021, she joined BioIT as a project manager. Since then, she has been actively, with great enthusiasm, developing a culture of collaboration at EMBL. She will be very happy in discussing about computational research, data software management, verification of scientific outputs if you have different questions. And last but not least, we have Renato Alves, who began his career at the Gulbenkian Institute for Science. There he spent 4 years as a research group member before joining the Institute Bioinformatics Support Unit. In 2015, he moved to Germany and started his PhD in the board group at EMBL, developing new methods for integration of meta-transcriptomes and metagenomes from human. During his time at EMBL, he has been an active member of the BioIT community, of which he took the role of coordinator in 2020, integrating at the same time the Gibson team. Since then, Renato has helped transition many of the BioIT activities to a virtual format, delivering computational training, establishing multiple computational resources accessible to everyone at EMBL, and being a supportive, of course, voice in the EMBL chat that he also helps to maintain. And finally, Renato also is a mentor with Google's Summer of Code and Open Life Sciences, and a certified instructor with the Carpenters as well. So without further ado, the stage is yours. Thank you.
So hi, everyone. Today we will be introducing the BioIT project, and so today's talk will be how to support your computational research with the BioIT project. So first of all, the BioIT project is a community initiative which aims to build, support, and promote computational biology activity at EMBL. So just a brief outline of today's talk. As Wolfram mentioned, both me and Lizana will talk today. I will start by introducing the BioIT project, and Lizana will take over presenting the grassroots initiative and a few more notes on how to engage with the BioIT project. So first things first, so why the BioIT project? So BioIT project is, as the name implies, biology and informatics, or better said, computational biology. And recently, computational biology at EMBL, as we know, is an integral aspect of experimental design. Computational aspects support experimental design, planning, and data processing. As at EMBL, as an institute that also produces a lot of data and has a lot of data-driven research, the computational needs or computational skills are ever growing, and even more as the data gets larger and as more different kinds of data are collected. We will then need to use computational approaches, or inevitably we need to use computational approaches to analyze and integrate these data. Another aspect of data, and more recently, is that data and science doesn't end at publication. So fair processes bringing the findability, interoperability, and accessibility and reusability of data are becoming a common procedure in science overall. And many of these processes are achieved through computational approaches and computational resources. At EMBL, we also have a culture of creating many resources, many databases, many tools, often in the form of software. And so it's a specific interest of the local community. And EMBL also strives for or commits to open practices and transparency in science. And so all of this can be assisted as well through computational approaches. So the BioIT project is 4 pillars. Its mission is to provide training and consulting, resource coordination, information dissemination, and community building. Specifically for training and consulting, we offer many courses and workshops and also consultancy sessions, particularly on Tuesday morning, the BioIT drop-in sessions that currently you can join virtually over Zoom. We also have many resources that we coordinate. Some of the most popular ones include the GitLab platform, where you can store your code, you can store repositories, you can store results as well, you can organize tasks, you can use this platform for project management as well, and many other things. We have also the chat platform that I will mention a bit more in a few slides. And additionally, we have two other platforms that are quite central to our activities, particularly the training activities, which are a PAD, which is a note-taking platform, a collaboratively note-taking platform, and a survey platform that we use for collecting feedback and to survey many aspects of the life at EMBL. And is a replacement to some of the commercial options that are available. All of these platforms are hosted at EMBL and are maintained by us as part of the BioIT project. And they are accessible to everyone at EMBL. Next, in terms of information dissemination, primarily we have the BioIT website, where you can find pretty much everything about our activities, about the different platforms that we provide, about clubs, programming clubs, information for newcomers. So if you're new to EMBL and you feel a bit lost navigating the myriad of information that might be relevant to you, you will find some guide in the BioIT project page as well. And many other things, many other aspects about computational resources at EMBL, particularly EMBL Heidelberg. And in the past, we also had many in-person activities. Some of them migrated to a virtual format, such as the task force meetings and the coding clubs. Others, such as the beer sessions and lunches, we had unfortunately to suspend, but we are hoping to resume many of them this year. So specifically about training and consulting, and just some numbers to give a little bit of a perspective. So the data that you see here from 2014 onwards is still not complete, but it gives an overview of about or more than 160 courses delivered in this period, with over 50 different instructors involved in the process and over 1,500 participants overall. If we narrow down just to the more recent years, and particularly with a shift to virtual formats and so on, we have in the last 2 years about 37 courses with 55 different instructors and over 8,000 participants. One of the interesting aspects that we can also mention here is that as we were forced to move to our homes, or to move and to adapt to a virtual format, we actually beat 2 records in our activities, where we had 2 courses with 70 participants, when on average our courses range between 20 to 35 or so participants. And this was only possible thanks to the support of the virtual platforms. In terms of resources, I already mentioned GitLab, just to have a perspective on how successful this platform has been. On the right, you can see a plot of the growth of the platform in terms both of the number of repositories, and also the number of active accounts or developers. And you can see that as of 2022, we have roughly 3,500 repositories active and roughly 2,000 accounts created in this platform. On the right side of this slide, you can see a little diagram about the monthly number of posts on the EMBL chat. This platform was set up in 2017, and since then it had a moderate adoption. But as you can see, as of February, or between the transition between February and March of 2020, the numbers increased significantly up to almost 5 times. And they have kept that high usage since then. And another interesting aspect was that just last week or at the beginning of February, we actually reached the milestone of 1 million posts in this platform. So quite successful these days, and we hope to see more of these milestones achieved in the future. In terms of information dissemination, we already mentioned the BioIT website. If you actually visit the page, you will find right on the landing page a summary of many of the resources and other pieces of information that you can find. So you'll find the BioIT calendar, where you can find many of the activities that we have, including details on how to connect, particularly to some of them, such as the Python clubs, R clubs, and so on, the drop-in sessions included. You can also find a summary of training, upcoming courses, existing course materials that you can reuse and use for self-study if you like, and more information about consulting. You can also have some information about the community, how to get involved with us, and we'll show a little bit more about this, about the grassroots project that Lizana will discuss in a few minutes, and also general information about the community and relevant bits of news from the BioIT community blog. You also have a list of many of the resources that are frequently used by the local computational community. Some of these resources have been set up by the BioIT project, but others have also been set up by different communities at EMBL. Some of the most popular ones include, for instance, RStudio, that has been set up by GVCS, and the newer Jupyter Hub platform set up in collaboration with IT. And in terms of information, we have also EMBL centers that I will detail a little bit more in just a few minutes. Different links to many of the computing resources at EMBL, particularly EMBL Heidelberg, things such as the cluster wiki and the newcomers guide that I mentioned as well before. And so just to give a better idea of what the BioIT project is and as a community, how you can potentially identify yourself with it or participate in it. We will now present a series of personas that do not depict any individual at EMBL, but depict one type of interaction that you could potentially have with us, and so it's potentially a role that you could relate with. But again, all of these are fictitious. And so to start with, we have the observer. So the observer is someone that mostly applies wet lab biology techniques in experiments, sometimes uses computational tools through graphical interfaces to make some predictions or some analysis, is interested in learning, perhaps to learn some programming skills, and try to write some code for visualization or for cleaning up data and so on. And to do so, they ended up in the BioIT website, or potentially they follow the BioIT Twitter profile for any kind of relevant news, both from EMBL and from other sources. They also consult the BioIT resources in the BioIT platform, resources such as the Jupyter Hub, for instance. They use the chat for consulting and for help, using many of the channels that are listed. For instance, here we have the BioIT channel, which is one of the most popular ones and more generic ones. But then we have also slightly more topic-specific channels. If you want to hear about announcements within the BioIT project, relevant courses, relevant opportunities both inside and outside of EMBL, you could join the BioIT Announce channel. And we also have coding specific channels such as the Coding Club or Python and R and Statistics and many other. The observer also would attend both external or internal courses, as you can see in some of these photos. Then we have the engager. So the engager is someone with somewhat stronger computational skills. He's potentially a developer of computational tools for biological data analysis and is a promoter of open science practices. Is also potentially a user of the EMBL GitLab platform and the EMBL Galaxy platform set up by GBCS, and is versed in many of the technologies that are used in computation. For instance, tools such as Bioconda for creating reproducible environments, assisted as well by container technologies such as Singularity and Docker, potentially also using workflow management systems in the cluster or directly per se, such as Galaxy, Nextflow, SnakeMake, and so on, or other more sophisticated infrastructure, both HPC or potentially cloud technologies such as Kubernetes and OpenStack. The engager is also often a chair or a presenter in many of the programming clubs that we have at EMBL, shares coding stories and past experiences in many of the chat channels, proposes and leads themed seminars, joins hackathons and together-a-thons, and sometimes also joins courses as a trainer or as a helper. Then we have the trainer, usually has a wide experience in computational biology or a very deep experience in a particular topic, uses computational tools from the command line for exploratory analysis, for instance, and is listed in the grassroots consulting table as a consultant on topics that are within their domain of expertise, and is also often a trainer in external and internal courses. Finally, we have the coordinator. The coordinator enjoys coding, testing new tools and resources, and making them available to the wider community, maintains bio-IT resources, and is potentially an admin of GitLab or many of the other resources, maintains the bio-IT website, editing content and adding new, is a chair of meetings and clubs, and overall is an organizer. Is also available for consulting via chat or through bio-IT drop-in sessions, and organizes small group discussions. As an example, at the moment on the coordination team, we currently have me, Renato, and Lizana. You can find both of our emails under our photos, but you can also reach both of us through the bio-IT email address. And a word about the EMBL Center. So I mentioned the bio-IT project, but the bio-IT project is not just the two of us. The bio-IT project is many people, including the EMBL centers, which are specialized on specific topics and provide both training and consulting under these. So to start, we have the Center for Statistical Data Analysis that is coordinated by Sarah Kasper. Sarah is currently in maternity leave, and Sasha Horn will take over the responsibility of this center from March. We have also the Center for Biological Modeling, led by Eva Geisen, for all matters modeling. We have the Center for Biomolecular Network Analysis that was led by Matt Rogan and is currently unstaffed, but the process to actually find someone to continue this work is ongoing. And finally, we have the Center for Bioimage Analysis that is led by Christian Tischer, also known as Tishi. So you can reach out to all of these people by using their personal email addresses, or in some of the cases, the center email address as well. Finally, in addition to this, I would like to say that the bio-IT project is not just us. As I mentioned, the bio-IT project is a community initiative, and it's built upon collaboration with the centers and many of the staff people and our champions at EMBL that help us coordinate and deliver many of the activities, many of the training initiatives, many of the training courses, workshops, and so on. And you can see some of the faces in this slide. Already mentioned before, we also have the bio-IT blog that helps us to to announce and to celebrate some of the achievements of the community, and you can see some of them highlighted in this slide. But again, the BioIT project is a community, and it's made of people that dedicate part of their time to it and both benefit and contribute in making it grow and expand. So the BioIT community is all of you. If you are using computational tools, you may not realize, but you may already be part of it. And to another important aspect of our activity. So the BioIT project started initially as an effort in Heidelberg, which is why much of the information is still centered around Heidelberg. But one of the advantages that we saw from moving many of the activities into a virtual format was the ability to break the physical barrier and to reach out to other sites and actually bring all the computational communities closer. And so one of the things that we are very happy to say that we have now achieved is that we have task force meetings every couple of months, where the BioIT community, or at least stakeholders that are interested in helping direct the BioIT project, can join. And as I mentioned initially, it was mostly represented by Heidelberg staff, but now we are very happy to see that we have representation from almost all of the sites, and we hope that soon enough we will have representation from all of them. And with this, I will like to pass to Lizana for the rest of the presentation.
Thank you, and hello, and sorry for not joining physically there, but speaking of the advantages of moving to online, here I am. As Renato already introduced, BioIT exists in an ecosystem of different projects. First of all, BioIT is a community project, so all of our members have their own collaborations and projects and networks they are linked to. Also, in this context, the open and fair science commitment of EMBL and of BioIT links it to a greater effort at a larger scale. Also linked to BioIT, the EMBL centers, as Renato introduced, but also the data science initiatives and the data science center, the logo here on the left. So in all this ecosystem of different networks and collaborations, we really think that collaboration is the key, and that we should support it by building a platform and by providing it with tools. So then this part of the presentation will go through all the steps we are taking in order to support collaboration within and outside the BioIT project. And this is what we call grassroots, which is the platform to support internal collaboration and consultation. The steps include disseminating fair and open principles, collecting data about the personnel available for the consultation and their topic of expertise. And this is what Renato already mentioned as the grassroots table. So it's a table of people that is available to be asked for a question and help in specific topics. All these kind of collaboration needs the continuous maintenance of their communication channels. We already mentioned the chat, but there are others related platforms like for collaborative working, like the GitLab. It's also a matter of curating training materials in order to ensure that the knowledge is transferred, and to welcome new members, providing them all the relevant information. And it's also very important to acknowledge all the contributions within the community, and to organize events to allow community members to interact, and also to, again, disseminate relevant information about it. So what we have done so far, or what we have been doing in the last months, is together with the data science, and in the context of the data science training initiative, it's to collect a set of keywords that describe EMBL's expertise. We are trying to use these keywords to apply them to the database of collaborators, so to the grassroots table, in order to provide structured and accessible data of all the personnel that is available for consultation. This is also a way to increase the visibility of each specific topic, And in case they are not already there, to create topic-specific communication channels, for example, channels in the chat. And we are using this kind of glossary also to collect a catalog of past courses and training materials in order to make them accessible again. Yeah, we make sure that in the training plan for next year, all the different expertises and topics are represented. So this is a first view of the catalog that we assembled. This is obviously just temporary and just a way to visualize the data that we have collected so far. So far, the catalog of courses consists in a list of all the courses that happened, tagged with these words describing the different topics of expertise, and enriched with metadata like who was involved, both in terms of instructors and helpers, the number of attendees, and most importantly, the link to the training materials. So all the training materials are now linked from the same platform. We plan to expand the catalog. So to finalize, first of all, the collection and classification of all this data about past training courses, in order to add features to this platform. So like navigation and search, and maybe even a better visualization of all of this data. We plan to update the database of grassroots collaborators. And in this context, we will also have in BioIT a summer internship that we received funding for, that will be aimed at the development of the training catalog and its features and the verification of training materials in general. Finally, we would like to close by showing you a preview of the training plan of this year, because we welcome collaboration about this too. So the training plan for this year includes programming languages and version control courses, workflow management system courses, actually next one happening next week, machine learning courses, FAIR principles and data management, cluster and cloud computing, and structural biology and marine general protein bioinformatics, and a train the trainer course. So you're more than welcome to contact us if you want to add something to this plan, or if you want to join the organization team for the organization of one of them or several. And finally, our closing slide is to show you all the way you can interact with the project. So you can stay informed by reading the blog or checking the website, the upcoming course and activities, or the news about the resources we mentioned. You can engage with us through the different channels in the chat. This is just a selection of the channels that are there. But when you will join and log in for the first time, the welcome bot will welcome you with some suggestions on the chat channels that might be relevant to you, depending on your field or your expertise or your interest. And you can contact us directly through the handles Paladin and Ralphs. There are also a number of regular events during the week. So on Tuesday, we have the BioIT drop-in in the morning, and alternatively with the coding club on R or Python in the afternoon. We have the BioIT task force once every 2 months on Wednesdays. And we are, as Renato already mentioned, we are trying to re-establish the tradition of the BioIT lunches. So if you're welcome to contact us if you want to join those too. And finally, there are our email and the Twitter handle. And we thank you again for listening and for joining all BioIT activities, and welcome you to join if you haven't so far. Thanks.